This week on Cartoon Dumpster Dive, we cover the anime Shin-chan. Joel,
Yes, Andrew.
sometimes in the world that we live in and different cultures and prospects of life, you'll think, we're different breeds of people and everywhere around us is always never different. But then an anime comes along and you're like, you know what? Maybe we're not so different after all. Maybe our humors do line up more than you'd think.
Maybe we are all just like each other.
Shin-chan is that anime.
Dude,
And
what an anime. What a cartoon.
this one came from our request feature on the Patreon itself. This one actually comes from The Merchant of Sketches.
Ooh.
So you can go to his TikTok channel and follow him. He actually made dumpster pie fan art.
What a great job on that fan art, too.
Yeah, he's not eating a bee. That's my only critique. Because we decided that he was a bee killer.
I feel like that's what dumpster pie would look like, though.
That's
universe.
absolutely what he would look like.
Spot on.
He even had the cutie mark. It's great.
It's fantastic.
But without further ado, let's review that theme song. Hit it, Joel.
Let's hit it.
2, 3.
And
There we
there
go.
it went.
Yeah, I was about to say it's really short. I'm a big guy on don't have long intros.
Yeah, don't.
I mean they
Yeah, they nailed it.
They nailed it.
Funimation really popped off with that one.
I would give it a 7.
Really, I'm gonna give it about a 5 because it's short enough. But
I'm giving it a 7 just from the sole purpose of it's efficient, and I don't know, maybe that's a nod to the Japanese people. Who knows?
perhaps. So Joel, how did Shit-can get made? How did Shin-chan get made?
Yes, Andrew. So, Shin-chan, would you be surprised if I told you it was based off of a manga?
A little, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just because who would read that?
Apparently a ton of people. So, I'll give you a little history of the manga. We got a lot to cover today, so I'm not going to talk too much because there was a lot of history around this. But Shin-chan was basically created by Yoshito Yushi. It debuted in Futobasha's manga, Shinen Manga magazine in 1990. And it is still going strong, Andrew.
The manga is?
Yes.
Wow.
I read that the manga has sold over 55 million copies.
That is very surprising. It just seems like they're a funny little family. That's all it is.
Yes.
Then again, so is The Simpsons, and it's been on since '89. So maybe funny little families are the key to success.
That was kind of the goal. This was Yoshito was basically the Matt Groening in Japan. He wanted kind of a more adult oriented family, if that makes sense. blew up in popularity to the point where, of course, they started making animes in Japan based off of this. Shin-chan even has movies.
He's got a video game for the Switch that just came out the other day.
Video game. Shin-chan is huge in Japan. I really want to, make that point, how big he is. Because that blew my mind. I'm like, this goofy ass kid. But honestly, I kind of see it the same way as South Park is to us.
I kind of want to use the example of Marsupilami in Danish.
Yep.
And like how they got like statues of him everywhere and stuff like that.
Yeah, like it's huge. And so they created an anime. Now this is where Shin-chan gets passed around like crazy. Or let me say the rights of Shin-chan gets passed around pretty crazy. So basically, the first iteration of a dub version of Shin-chan took place in 2001. It was by Vitelio Productions out in California. They partnered with TV Ayashi, who was basically showing it in Japan, to dub it. They aired it on Fox Kids.
Heavily censored. Because, like, Shin-chan, like... Well, he moons a lot of people, but, like, also, he whips out his little kid wiener a lot, and it's...
Even in, like, Japan, he is more kind of like, okay, you got to be a little bit mature. Why they thought he would be a good pick for Fox Kids?
My going theory is, like, they saw him as a sassy little kid, and they're like, oh, this is definitely a kid's show, and they didn't see enough of him like pulling his pants down, or there's enough around it to censor it, because like even when he moons people in the like in the unedited Japanese version, you can see his balls, and you're like, I don't like this.
Yeah, like, okay, Japan's a little weird with their, I guess, censorship over there.
Censorship overseas is like,
not
it's
existing.
Weird because our censorship is only for like sexual stuff. If like a lot of the things we get criticized about is like how desensitized we are to like hyper violence. Because
I do find it funny how nowadays, like they still won't show like, nudity on like public TV. Well, many other countries will. But I'm like, when you've got someone up there half dressed to where like barely anything's covering them, like there's no point in saying, hey, you can't show nipple on TV. Like the way they're blurring out things where it's just like it's barely being blurred out. At this point, just show the nipple. Who fucking cares, right?
My thing is, it's always been funny when more like this, the sex is censored, but the violence is not. And one of the parts that always makes me laugh is, so that scene in The Patriot where a dude gets his fucking head blown off by a cannonball?
Yep.
That stays in the TV version, but it's like, well, we got to make sure that they can't see boobies in this one like scene and blah blah blah. And you're like, the man's head came off.
Yeah, let's show actual crime pictures on our on our public TV on C-SPAN, but we can't show a nipple. I'm like, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Or like any episode of SVU here would make like a foreigner run out in terror. It's like, what is he? There's no dick and balls. Why is he so scared?
Yeah, like pussy,
fucking pussy, French frog, whatever. No wonder you got to give up. Is that a dick and balls? Cover that up right now.
So Shin-chan continues to air. Really, Fox Kids version was only in the UK. They released it in Australia, Singapore, Republic of Ireland. Shin-chan was basically just being thrown everywhere. Vitello Productions, they actually pull out like midway through this run. Lacey Entertainment, who was running the show, they actually pulled in another company, and basically they have their own series. Now, the show that we are actually covering, this is coming up because in 2006, this is when Funimation acquires the license to Shin-chan in North America. Now, per the agreement of the license, they actually have to work with TV Ashi in Japan for the partnership, but Funimation had complete control to do whatever they wanted with this.
It's ghost stories.
It is
again
100% ghost stories. And thank God they did that, because this show is fantastic. So
it's hilarious.
So Funimation, they took it, they featured a Texas-based voice actors, which I know you're going to talk about, Andrew, to do the dubs, but they really did start changing around the episodes. They actually started clipping episodes. So like mini segments, they would jumble them around. So, and come up with backstories to the characters. Nothing about this is the same with the Japanese.
Their names are Americanized also.
The only thing that's the same is the animation. That's it. Everything else was changed for American audience. And I don't know if we've mentioned this, but it did air on Adult Swim when it actually did air. And that's where I think probably a lot of people our age, this is really when we started watching Shin-chan and really started kind of falling in love with this goofy kid.
Yeah, that's I never really watched Shin-chan a lot, but I do remember he would come on Adult Swim, and it's always funny.
It was always that cartoon where, like, you're 14, 15, 16, you fall asleep while watching Adult Swim, you wake up in the middle of the night, and Shin-chan is on, and you have no idea what you are watching, but you're like, this is wild and ridiculous, but I kind of love it.
This kid mooning his parents, this is something I need to add to my repertoire.
Yeah, I don't get it, but I like it. So, Andrew,
there we go.
Hit us with the voice actors.
All right. So the voice cast for the Funimation, which specifically that was what was requested.
Exactly.
Just in case anyone was wondering. The Funimation cast of Shin-chan is Laura Bailey is Shin-chan, Cynthia Kraz is Mitzi, Chuck Hoover is Hiro, Colleen Clickenbeard is Hima, Carrie Savage is Penny, and Brian Palciela is Georgie.
Okay.
There's a bunch of people, but that's all we need to know.
A ton of characters in Shin-chan.
For their other works, we have Laura Bailey is Vexal in The Legend of Vox Machina. Ooh. Cynthia Kraz is Chi-Chi in Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods. And Dragon Ball Z, like just Dragon Ball Z in general. Yeah. Chuck Hoover is Emperor Pilaf.
Really?
In Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball,
Yeah.
Colleen Clickenbeard is Lilith in Borderlands 2.
Oh, cool.
And finally, Carrie Savage is Ling Xiaoyu in the English version of Street Fighter Tekken.
Nice.
You ever notice how many anime people are just like, I do video games too, but like voice actors who do mostly Western shows, they're only in cartoons. I've never, like, outside of characters Jim Cummings voiced in animation that got turned into video games, I've never really seen him just voice a straight video game character.
Yeah, I think that's changing too. Honestly, I think voice actors now are getting more jobs in video games, especially since video games have become huge.
Yeah, you know,
because I know if, like, you're right. If you look at more like modern voice actors, they do a lot of different stuff. But you like the old school voice actors.
Well, I'm not just talking about just dub artists, like even like people who do, like the Japanese people who do anime, like even the older voice actors, they're in video games.
Yeah. Like
it seems like they were early adopters.
Yeah, it is strange how it's like America that was not the case, but I feel like it is kind of changing. Maybe that's just because everybody needs more money now. Who knows?
Absolutely. So I was gonna go down a list of the names that they changed and who they are and what they were. So Shin-chan is pretty not. She's not really like, or he is not really changed too much. So
no.
Shinozuki is Shin-chan Nohara. Miyazi is Mitzi Nohara. Hiroshi is Hiro Nohara. Himurai is Hima. Shiro is Whitey. Nene is Penny. Kazami is Georgie Hibbert Walker Prescott III.
Okay.
Masao is Meso Sato. Bo is Boo.
Okay.
Midori is Polly Anderson. Umi is Rachel Katz. And Chou is Berniol Enrich. Action Kama is Action Bastard. That's like the hero that he's obsessed with.
I thought it was Action Mask.
It's Action Bastard.
Oh, okay.
It is Action Mask and the Fox Kids one, okay. I think.
All right.
And yeah, that's pretty much it for the most part. I do enjoy some of the jokes in the Funimation dub, just because like one of the kids comes up to the teacher, Shin-chan is lost. And he goes, what are we gonna, we can't just make like Congress and stand around and do nothing.
Fantastic.
And like my favorite one that they do, my favorite joke in Shin-chan, they talk about like starting a revolution.
Yeah.
And like, we're going to start a revolution and we're going to go take care of, business. And it pans up to the sky like 1 hour later. And they're like, so it turns out it's really hard to get guns in Japan.
That's awesome. I watched, I was able to find one episode. It was like the Peace Strike little sketch. And there was like a joke in there where he wants a allowance and he's going on strike from doing chores. And the mom the entire time is just like cutting him down, like, you don't do any kind of chores. And plus you would probably just like take the money and buy meth with it.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's for adults. It's definitely kind of that edginess that like South Park and those adult animes have.
It's definitely Japanese South Park.
It is.
I mean, even in its original recipe form, unedited.
Yeah.
I do remember it was what was it? It was a Lupin the Third, but he was parody, and I watched a clip of that, and he called himself Poopin the Third. And he goes, I called myself that because it's got the word poop in it. Because that's how Shin-chan sounds.
Yeah.
Shin-chan sounds like somebody doing an impression of an 80-year-old, but I think he's supposed to he's a dumb kid, but he doesn't sound, he sounds like an old man. I just remember when he sneaks out, first he uses his butt and he like wiggles his butt, and then he stretches something and then snaps it back. And then at first I was like, I wonder what that was. And I was like, oh, that was his penis is what that was.
It was.
They had a Star Wars parody that was pretty funny. They have to tuck the lightsabers in between their legs and
oh my God,
fight like that.
Fantastic.
And Obi-Wan is called Anyone, which I just found hilarious. Lucas Puke, stuff like that.
Dude, I love it. Look, I don't care if it's basically just making something for an American audience for them to enjoy. As long as it's fun, I'm all for it, man. And Shin-chan is so much fun.
My only complaint is like the story unedited, like by itself, like without all the weird, like making it specifically for us. Like even without it, if you watch the sub stuff, it's still pretty goddamn funny. Like they didn't have to pull all this. They could have just, I feel like it would have been easier to just translate it straight and do that. But they didn't. It's like they just, it's weird that they did it this way because it seems like so much more work on their end
to completely change it around,
to like completely overhaul the show, like splice clips together and stuff like that, all to make this show, when really you could have just made it. Like you could have just translated it and people would have laughed.
What? Can you imagine Funimation doing something like this today?
There would be no way.
What? It's fantastic. Like you are right. They could, and my understanding is the Fox Kids version. It's more like the original one, but that one is still heavily censored. The Fox Kids. It's still more like a complete story. If anything, this makes me want to watch the sub version,
which is hard to do.
Oh yeah, I don't think you're gonna be able to find like all of it because I don't think I mentioned this. Apparently, the anime in Japan, we talked about the 55 million manga being sold. The anime has over 1,000 episodes in Japan.
Oh, it's like almost up there with One Piece.
Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to watch all of those, but
yeah,
I would like to watch some of them.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah. It's weird that the Funimation dub also isn't on Crunchyroll because they merged, but then again, it took One Piece forever to get its dub on there. I
might know a reason why, Andrew.
Why?
So, Funimation lost the right to the license right to Shin-chan because Shin-chan was originally on Hulu, and this was like going back to 2019, I think. It was on Hulu, and then Funimation tried to pull it off of Hulu and take it to Prime Video. And for some reason, them doing that, it lost the license of Funimation. So you can see that there was an option to watch it on Prime Video, but it's not available in this region.
Huh. Well, if we ever get sponsored by a VPN, we could use that as a perk.
NordVPN. Want to hide what you're looking up?
Don't say them. If they want us to say their name, they need to pay our poor little podcast some.
I'll put a bleep in there in the podcast. You know who you are, and you know what you've done.
Sponsor us today. We're an eager young podcast with everything to prove.
Yes,
Joel, I feel like it's time for your new reoccurring segment, reviews that shoot to the moon and reviews that get mooned.
Oh, Andrew.
Because he pulls his ass out all the time, right? That's something.
This is a clap. That's what that noise is. It's nothing else.
God,
it's
I
a
hope
clap.
So.
Fantastic today, Andrew. So I'm going to start out with a 1 out of 10.
Okay.
Titled, Why Does This Exist? This show is lame and the art style and the animations are ugly. I've never seen such bad animation ever in my life. If you have bad taste, then you can watch it. But if you're normal, stay away. I wish I could give it 0 stars.
Ooh, that's a sassy interview.
Dude,
review, excuse me.
Yeah, that person... And look, I get it. Shin-chan is...
If you've got bad taste, I guess you could watch it.
But if you're normal... All right. The next one is a 10 out of 10 titled A Perfect Animated Series which can remove your sadness. This cartoon is so funny and realistic. In fact, I died laughing while watching the episode of Shin-chan. All the characters are really funny. An animated series which can remove your sadness, worth watching. Go and watch it. You really enjoy it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
One last little fun fact before we leave. When this show was released in India, Shin-chan entered a controversy the same way that Bart Simpson did when it was The Simpsons was introduced into the States.
Really?
He said that Shin-chan was rude to his parents and that kids who watched it would be more motivated to disrespect their elders.
I believe it.
Only, unlike The Simpsons, it was pulled from India immediately.
And it was like, we don't play that shit here. Get out.
They were like, disrespect your elders? Get that shit out of here.
We don't care how much money could be in it for us. Screw you.
So, but yeah. But I believe that wraps up our covering of the animation Shin-chan. Joel, any closing thoughts?
I think I've already said it, but I love this show. It's humorous. It's a silly time. Go watch it. If you can find it, watch it. Watch clips. Do whatever you can. You need some Shin-chan in your life.
Both the dub and the sub, both the Funimation dub, it's funny on its own, but also the regular sub, like what it's supposed to be, is also pretty funny. So I would try to find both. I don't know. There's a lot of YouTube clips of both of them.
Yeah, there is.
You do have to be a little comfortable with seeing a child's genitals, but
yeah,
that's your own cross to bear. Anyway, if you'd like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/cartoon dumpster dive. No, you can't, because that's not what it is.
Get it right.
If you would like to support us, you can go to patreon.com/cartoondd. There we have the $5 tier. It gets you stickers and pins mailed to your door. It gets you access to our Discord with the mega request function, which is what we're currently going through now. It also gets you bonus episodes and episodes with extended audio. We have an X handle, Cartoon DD. We are Cartoon Dumpster Dive on all other social media platforms. If you would like to send us an email, you can send that to cartoondumpsterdive.com@gmail.com. And I said cartoondumpsterdive.com It's actually cartoondumpsterdive@gmail.com. And as always, we appreciate a 5-star review on the podcasting platform of your choice, so we can whip our dick out for humor.
So we can have 1,000 episodes ourselves.
Yeah, there we go. That works. Have a great rest of your week.
See ya.
This is an audio medium, so technically we could have our dicks out right now. How would you ever know?
This has been a Lughole podcast.